Welcome to the Windy City Podcast presented by Fansided. You know that man right there, Alex Shapiro. I am Kenneth Davis. We are here to talk Bears football, NFL, and injuries, evidently. That is the focus of what we're going to do today. We got a few injuries, two bad, one good, and also one that we've talked about that doesn't seem like it's moving in necessarily the direction that the team desires. All right, so let's start off with the biggest injury update that we have. All right. We know that the Bears safety, Kobe Bryant, was supposed to miss up to 8 to 10 weeks. That has now changed. He did end up having surgery at the end of last week, and now he is expected to be out for at least 4 to 6 months. All right. So perhaps the entire season. We wax poetic about fears in him rushing back and fears in what that may look like. I definitely would prefer for him to be here this year, but part of me, to a degree, is happy instead of having something exacerbating something. And I mean that as far as if he's not going to be right this year, coming back for a team that's trying to go to the playoffs and contend and trying to prove something and end up and this is just my opinion, messing this deal that the Bears just signed him up because maybe there's 2 seasons he's not right instead of, you know what? And let's just be honest, y'all, to a degree, this season was a wash after he got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Do I like it? No, I don't like it. I'm sure Alex doesn't like it. But let's be grown-ups with the fact that the deal is what? This is a 3 or 4 year deal. Alex, do you remember, Alex?
Oh, I don't. Here, I can look it up. But, I mean, it's just brutal that this guy hasn't even played a snap for this football team, and we're already talking about 2027. It's just, especially as you were mentioning, he signed a 3-year deal. So his 3-year deal, the Bears now are getting a maximum, likely, 2 years out of those 3 years.
Right.
And it's worse when you consider he was the splash. I mean, you mentioned it, right? And we talked about it last time. There was so much upheaval in this secondary. That was a very good secondary last year. You lost a lot of ball hawks in Kevin Byard, in Nashawn Wright, in Tremaine Edmonds. I know he's a linebacker, but those 3 dudes took the ball away at a high clip. And Kobe Bryant was the answer. He was not only going to help in the takeaway department, but he was going to help in the run game. He was going to help in the box. He was going to help cover the middle of the field. He was going to do all of those things. And, you know, it was like, okay, yes, the Bears lost these 3 high impact players, but hey, don't worry. They got a Super Bowl champ. Hey, don't worry. They got a veteran. Don't worry. They got a guy who's going to help our rookie, Dylan Thieneman, come along. He's going to take Thieneman under his wing, and he's going to be both a leader on the field, off the field. It eased the blow of losing those 3 guys. And now, I mean, the Bears never really even got a chance to see that realized. So it stinks for the Chicago Bears.
Yes, it's definitely unfortunate for the Chicago Bears. And I think also it makes me question again the versatility that I believe Dennis Allen was trying to infuse that defensive backfield in. And look, whoever's going to end up being the starter for majority of those reps isn't going to be as versatile as Kobe Bryant. But then the flip side of that, it limits perhaps what you're going to do with Dylan Thieneman, because does Dylan Thieneman have to play the back more? And the guy, whoever's going to be the starter, is this going to be more of a traditional role where the guy that's replacing Kobe Bryant may be more of a Jaquan Brisker type, where you have Dylan Thieneman play more of the Kevin Byard situation? I felt like this was supposed to be more of a situation where you never knew where it was coming from. You know what I'm saying? Where as far as who's playing what, and it kind of throws off the offense with what they expect and who they expect. And also on the flip side, we'll probably do a little Kyler Gordon discussion because, hey, what's life without talking about Kyler Gordon? What Kyler Gordon was going to be able to do. So it's unfortunate. Hey, guess what? Your head coach said that he wants to break the season scoring record from the Denver Broncos, all right, to the Athletic, right?
They're going to have to.
Yeah, and that's the point that I'm just going to get to. Hey, if you're going to go out there and try to score 40 points a game, you can still be a really good team. Particularly the flip side of that could be where if you had defensive pass rushers, you'll be able to say, hey, forget the run. All right. Don't even worry about the run because these points on this board, they're going to go to a passing game. Pin your ears back, go get that quarterback. But again, that maybe hopefully look, the flip side is if you can do that. I'll say this too. They didn't have a great pass rush at all last year. But there were a ton of games where if we really talk about it, we talk about it here, they weren't up. You know what I'm saying? There definitely were games that were up and
Sure.
teams came
They
back,
had, they
but
had to play from behind.
they had to play from behind a lot. So what if this is a structured offense where it's playing on time and they can consistently put up points, you can in some cases make the offense one dimensional on how they come, and that could benefit your defense in knowing we don't have to pay attention to the run as much, depending on how much time is on the clock and how many points are already on the board.
Yeah. And the Bears have addressed this. They have, I guess, like tried to stop the bleeding, for lack of a better term. They got the tourniquet
Mhm.
on. They signed Xavier Woods. And to
Yeah,
me, this
okay.
actually reminds me a lot of the Garrett Bradbury situation, right? The Bears think they're set at Drew Dahlman, at center with Drew Dahlman. And then all of a sudden, Drew Dahlman retires. And they're like, whoa, we got to, our plan A is not working out anymore. We got to go get Garrett Bradbury. And then we're going to go get Logan Jones. And Garrett Bradbury, I don't think anybody's going to say Garrett Bradbury is Drew Dahlman, but he's serviceable vet. Oh my God. I'm really struggling here. Serviceable vet.
Right,
He is a veteran center. And you can trust him to make the checks, make the calls, operate.
right,
The Bears sign now Xavier Woods, who nobody is saying Xavier Woods is Kobe Bryant. They are not. I do not mean to disrespect you, Xavier Woods. He's a veteran safety who has had a lengthy career and has had a lengthy career for a lot of good reasons. He's not the type of player that Kobe Bryant is, but this is a guy where now, okay, hey, we have a guy who we can plug in. We know that he's going to know what to do.
right.
Xavier Woods has played a lot of football. He's seen it all. He can communicate. He can make the he can assess what's going on in front of him and make the right reads. Right? Is he going to be the huge playmaker that Kobe Bryant was expected to be? He can make plays. He's not the type of ball hawk that a Kevin Byard was. He can pitch in 2 or 3 interceptions. He can punch out a forced fumble. He's a solid tackler. So again, it's obviously not their plan A, obviously, but they moved quickly and they got
Mhm.
to a plan B that you can feel decent about, right? That, okay, we're not, woe is me. We're not waiting for Elijah Hicks to come back. We're not waiting to see what Cam Lewis is going to be doing. They, credit to the personnel department, credit to polls for getting getting bodies in there and getting capable bodies in there, not just bottom of the barrel guys. Xavier Woods he is an NFL player. He's a veteran. He knows what to do. Bears fans might be familiar with him. He played a season with the Vikings. So they did take some action and they did replenish that room a little bit.
What can you do? I mean, I'll say this: at some point during this season, depending on what happens with the defense, there will be shots fired. All right, because pro personnel wise, they didn't do enough, and I'm talking about the front four to really help the back end and Dennis Allen. So if there's a situation where, again, not taking care of the front four and then having injuries on the backside that was injured last year, all
Mm-hmm.
right. If there's some holes there, and that can be from bad play calling, but of course I'm talking about personnel decisions. But if that plays in, it won't be all hugs and kisses. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? Alex, you're right. He's not a scrub. He's still not Kobe Bryant, but this also speaks to the fact that there's more than one ways to skin a cat, and you still could have helped that defensive backfield with generating more pressure up front, getting to the quarterback so the quarterback is hastening his pace to get rid of the ball or getting hit and the ball is coming out or getting sacked. So
Absolutely.
again,
Hey, I mean,
we
we talked about it all the time. We're like, hey, we like the Dylan Thieneman pick. It makes a lot of sense. It fills a need, but man,
yeah,
they need help up front still.
and he help
When
up
we're
front.
talking about the Xavier Thomas pick, when we're talking about the Sam Roush pick, when we're talking, We're not gonna give him a hard time about the center thing, but it's like, man, I get you're gonna play 13, like 10, 15 snaps a game, but a DT or a D is probably gonna play 40 snaps a game, and you could use a lot of help there. That stuff this is where it like rears its ugly head even more.
It's where the rubber meets the road. I want to flip and go to the offensive side of the ball. Luther Burden, of course, was injured. And we now know that he will probably be missing the remainder of the preseason. All right. Definitely still a concern. He strained his groin. You don't want that groin to be an issue moving forward throughout the year. So it's good that they're kind of shutting him down for now to get that right. A guy that we've talked about, and a lot of people have talked about. Actually, I just watched a clip of the fantasy football show on ESPN, and one of the hosts saying that Luther Burden is the most hyped fantasy player since Anthony Richardson. Right?
Wow.
Right.
I thought they were going to say like Josh Gordon.
Yeah, you would think when you think about it, you would think something, because when you're talking about Anthony Richardson, you talk about somebody that you're thinking is throwing for touchdowns and running for touchdowns.
Yeah, there was a lot of promise there.
Right. There was a lot of promise there compared to just a receiver on his second year. So I guess the thing that we're trying to say is you would think Anthony Richardson meant more to any fantasy team than what Luther Burden, that Anthony Richardson hype was a lot larger than the Luther Burden hype. But your thoughts?
I still think Josh Gordon is a deep sleeper, man. I'm taking him in my 15th round. He signs anywhere, man. He's liable to pop. What's it been? 6 years since he's played? He's got fresh legs. I'm still waiting on that Josh Gordon season. I still believe. There's your deep sleeper picks on the Windy City podcast.
Not the Josh Gordon, the Josh Gordon. Man.
I'm still waiting. I'm still ready.
Of course, you have to be. You would have to be. But your thoughts on Luther Burden missing the preseason, Alex? Do you think it'll bear any effect on his season moving forward? And what do you think about the Bears? The Bears being cautious with him.
I see this two ways. In one way, it does not move my panic needle that much. Obviously, missing the preseason does not help a guy, especially a second-year player who is expected to make this big leap. And it seems like the Bears are counting on him to make this big leap. The way they're talking about him, they've been hyping him up big time at Hallis Hall. And from what I saw at the second half of last season, I'm like, okay, this guy knows the playbook. This guy, the game is coming to him. The game is slowed down for him. We watched that happen. Where, yes, would more time on the grass in year 2 help him? Of course it would. But I don't think it is gonna wreck his season or totally derail everything because he's gonna miss the preseason now. Now, could it take him a few weeks to get back up to speed? Will he be 100% weeks 1, week 2? Will he be 100% the whole season? I don't know. But I think, by week 4, week 5, week 6, I think it's reasonable to expect he'll be the Luther Burden we expected him to be. And then that's what matters. You want Luther Burden at the peak of his powers in December, not September. To me, that's more important that he's at the peak of his powers in December. Kenneth, it sounds like, get in there.
No. This is something we talked about with the Devin Hester number 1 receiver issue. Again, this is not Devin Hester slander. But in that scenario that took place with Jay Cutler, we were talking about the lack of weapons to help the offense and how, because of how much you were playing a guy that was looking like he was going to be a Hall of Famer, special teamer, but the amount of money he was paying, you had to also say this was receiver money too, or we're going to try to find out or whatever. The thing that helps the Bears in this scenario where it's not all doom and gloom, you got Rome, right? You got Raymond.
And who knows this offense? It's not like he's getting up to speed. Khalif Raymond knows the drill here. He was a part of Ben Johnson's Lions offenses for several seasons.
You got Loveland. You got Komet. You know what I'm saying? You got Jade. There are back in the days in this scenario, we would be sitting there talking about Jade's the number 1, right? It'd be
talking about Eddie Royal, Dontrell Inman.
everything. Just get Jade out. People will be writing in the chat. All you gotta do, and again, I'm not saying Jade is better than the guys that we're talking about as far as we with the hopes, but the point being, it will be your on most teams, it will be the third or fourth player that, as Bears fans, we will be saying now they're the star and just feed them the ball. Compared to one, Rome is still your number one receiver until proven otherwise. All right. Yeah. So you haven't lost your number one receiver. Technically, you may not have lost your number one pass catcher because not Luther Burden, because Colston Loveland could be your number one pass catcher. So not saying this doesn't affect them, but in the past, this would have been a lot more dire than what it is right now. But on the offense, and if I'm gonna take pro personnel shots on defense, on offense, baby, they are loaded on that side of the ball offensively.
Remember the copium when people were like, "Oh man, I just can't wait to see Cam Meredith next season." Can you imagine Cam Meredith with a full training camp? The people in the chat last week when we were remembering all the terrible offensive linemen, somebody got in the chat and was like, "Remember Hronis Grasu?"
Oh, they did not hit us with a Hronis Grasu.
They hit us with the Hronis Grasu. So in the chat, we're talking Eddie Royal, we're talking Dontrell Inman, we're talking Cam Meredith. Remind Byron Pringle. Remind us of Bears receivers gone by.
What was the one from the Patriots? The first round guy that was a bust?
N'Keal
Harry. And we will not say he whose name should not be mentioned, Chase Claypool, which actually wasn't as crazy, right? We just didn't know he was kind of loopy. Right. But just think, so everybody think about then. All right.
Think about then. This is not
then. This is not that. And guess what? I'm gonna hit you with two other things. This is off on offense. You got Caleb Wilson and you got Ben Johnson. Oh my God. Wild. So again,
Caleb Wilson plays for the
That's Bears. So all right. So let me.
We're
just
gonna
say
do
this.
that. We're gonna do that 5,000 times.
I hope. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. I hope we do, because if we don't, that means that Caleb Wilson isn't who we hope he is. All right. So I hope we make that mistake, and because I hope we had a Caleb's. If you could tell me my football team has a uber stud, and now the chance of our basketball team having a stud and his makeup is right, like he's just not some athlete.
He could be the dude.
Kid, that he could be, but this isn't about.
I'm wearing the shirt.
We're not. There it goes. If you're not looking,
it's fun to be a Bulls fan again.
Alex has on a Bulls t-shirt right now. I have on a Bears t-shirt right now. I usually don't wear Bears memorabilia on the show or in general.
Thank you, Caitlin Hendricks, my former colleague. Caitlin Hendricks got me this t-shirt.
Really Shout out to Caitlin. Cool but we're not. I'll tell you this for all everybody listening or watching. We're not going to do basketball talk today. All right. So
that was last week.
We're not doing basketball. That's all the Bulls information that you're getting today. That's everything you're getting. But again, Luther Burden out for the preseason.
The other side of the coin. So this was the side of the coin that had me not panicked. And I think you did a great job of elaborating that. The offense is fine. Here's the one thing that gives me a bit of pause. The fact that it's a groin injury. Groin injury is tough. And this is the thing that sidelined and really held back Jalen Johnson last year, if you recall. Jalen Johnson dealt with that groin all year and then came back too quickly. And then all of a sudden he had the setback. And then all of a sudden that led to another injury, because if you come back and you're nursing one thing, you're favoring one thing, all of a sudden you're overcompensating somewhere else on your body, and it can lead to snowball effects. So the fact that it's a groin is actually a little troubling, because groin injuries, they just have a history of being tricky and being hard to. It's like the hammy, man. You never know with hammy.
No, dude, those injuries are these are just precarious injuries. Not say any injury isn't precarious, but it's an injury that can easily be re-injured, right? Like regardless of how much rehab you put into it, it's an injury that you're always looking out for throughout the remainder of the season and looking forward in the future seasons.
Now, Kenneth, does this news make you more or less likely to take the over or the under on Bears wins this season? Do you think this will negatively impact the Bears' opportunity to hit their win total this season? Do these two moves subtract one win from the Bears in your book?
I could if you say one win, I could see that. Should they stop them from making the playoffs? It shouldn't, because anybody can go down at any time. And to me, if Caleb is healthy, right? If he has, let's just say 3 to 4 of his weapons, right? I mean, if he has two, listen, if Caleb and Ben Johnson, who we think they are, they should damn near be able to do it with 3 weapons. So I'm giving them still the running back and 2 prominent pass catchers. You know what I'm saying? And then fill it in because you're supposed to be throwing the ball around anyway. This is supposed to look more, and I'm not trying to say this. I don't know it's hate Green Bay, lot more like a Packers catching room as far as anybody can get it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're spreading this all around, right? So one win that I could see that, but this shouldn't preclude them from still like we're a playoff team. No, because dog, you just said they lost Jalen Johnson for majority of last season, correct? Kyler Gordon majority of last season. You mentioned Jermaine Edmonds was out large. TJ Edwards was out large chunks of last. So like, no, look, both of your safeties, not safeties, both of your corners, Tyreek Stevenson was out. Dog, you know how many people you were out last year?
They were thin. Right? They were thin last year.
And then that was the best part of your defense? All right, so no, I don't. No, this isn't a big enough hit to where I'm like, oh well, guys, it was a good college try. No. A safety and then it's a wrap. No. Is this dude Ed Reed again? No, it shouldn't be. Troy Polamalu? Nah, bro. They should go ahead.
I love it. No, I was just gonna say, exciting news. We are now brought to you by MyBookie. And if you are like Kenneth and you're sitting at home thinking, you know what? I'm still high on the Bears to get 10 wins. That win-loss total, that win total is still at 9.5. I still think they're going to hit 10. And you're watching the markets, and if the markets are seeing, Luther Burden's injured, Kobe Bryant's injured, and that market is moving, but you're still feeling good about it, head over to MyBookie and use promo code DOWINDY, DAWINDY, DOWINDY. All right. So what I like about MyBookie, there's a lot of action, and you can bet pretty much anything, anywhere you want. It's right on your phone, like all your other apps. Okay. And they gave great action. And if you sign up, you're new to MyBookie, and you use our promo code DOWINDY, you're going to get a bet back bonus. So you're getting protection on your very first bet. So if your bet loses, it's your first bet, you'll get a little bet back bonus. You'll get some bonus bets, and you can wager again. It's like a little try again button. So again, head to MyBookie, use promo code DOWINDY, DAWINDY. And if you want to sprinkle a few dollars here and there on the Bears win-loss total, if you want to sprinkle a few dollars on the preseason, make the preseason more exciting, it's kind of wild, but I kind of support it. You know me, I'll probably be waiting till week 1, but hey, thank you, MyBookie, for now signing up and supporting the Windy City podcast. So we're gonna be bringing you more plays. We're gonna be bringing you more plays on the show, thanks to MyBookie. And thanks to Kenneth for breaking that down for us before we talk a little gambling.
All right, so that's MyBookie, bet back bonus code DOWINDY, and safety net under you in case you do lose that you can go get some coin back. Is what Alex was just breaking down to everybody.
You can kind of reload on your bet. You can kind of reload on your bet, if you will.
Right,
exactly.
But you're gonna hit the first time though. But it's still there for you.
Exactly. You're not going to need the safety net because you're going to listen to the Windy City podcast. You're going to get a lot of great knowledge, and you're going to use this knowledge to get winners, baby. We're going to win together.
Win together. All right. So on stick with offense on a brighter note, Ryan Poles was on Hogan Johns and mentioned that Ozzie Trapillo is ahead of schedule and could possibly return during the preseason, rather, is what I mean to say. All right. Now, that's just one for him to get to practicing. But the whole thing, and also, as I pat myself on the back,
I take a lap. Take a lap, Kenneth. Take a lap.
No, I'm not actually taking this one. No, because it could have went the other way. All right, because I
Hey
mean,
man, you
again,
were
so
right.
I had ACL surgery due to a football injury and some other shenanigans. And they took my tendon to replace my ACL, right? But I don't. Also, I don't know, and this is Alex, you tell me, and I don't know if this question was asked. With his tendon injuries, were they all gone, or were any of them still attached?
I don't remember. It was a
No one ever says
patellar. It
that. I
was a
feel like
patellar tendon rupture deal. I
okay,
do not
oof, yeah.
remember
So
all the
again,
details around it.
so also, if you don't know, this is your kneecap. All right, your patella tendons are what hook up to your femur and your big leg bone and keep the kneecap where it is. All right, those are you can feel it. Feel your kneecap, then feel under it and above it. So my patella tendon, when I feel it, there's a space where nothing's there because they put it in between my they put it where my ACL was in between the bones with my top and my lower leg. All right.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it's been fine for a very long time. All right, as longer than I've been. Listen, I've been alive with this longer than I was alive before it. All right, let you know how long this surgery, how long
Great.
ago this surgery was. Right, but again, we don't know how Ozzy Chapillo will be when he returns. And listen, definitely for the Bears, this is great. It's fantastic to hear. For the Bears, this is great. This is great for a young man who came out of nowhere. Yes, he was a second round pick, but we left camp like, man, this dude can't even play left right now. He got it. We got a right tackle, right? They spent the first round pick on the right tackle or whatever. So we forgot about him on the left side. It was like Ozzy who, and I mean it's in the best way possible. Like I
Right.
see no
Exactly.
him,
You
no
do
here,
not
no.
want to notice. You don't want to notice your
You
left
want to notice
tackle.
we usually here in Chicago notice the left tackle because it's a mess, and that he has a chance to get back to what he loves, but also what he was proving and getting to. I love it to hear this for Ozzy Japillo. Like, because also on top of the fact that he manned up and hopped out of that damn thing last year,
They didn't have to use a timeout. It was unbelievable.
it was dog the pain that he had to go through. All right, as someone who was at practice and blew out my knee initially, right? And having to get up and move around and just the instability. I just pillow, man. Shout out to you. Props to you for doing what you need to do to get to this point. Whoever the training staff and the doctors were, shout out to them. But one is great, and this is another thing too. Now you're not in a situation where everything you did on the left with the left tackle, where again, I'm sure Braxton Jones is still going to be your starter for the foreseeable future because there is no reason to rush Ozzy Japillo back. You slow walk this. You know what I'm saying? Like Ozzy, we look for you by week 3 to 4. Let's just say he gets back before preseason, during preseason, right? There's no reason to force him out there, in my opinion. Slow walk him, unless of course Braxton Jones is trash. But you can slow walk him to make sure he's strong enough to get out there. And you got Braxton Jones, who seems like you like. I know we just talked about Braxton Jones' injury prior episodes. But you got Braxton out there. You got a few guys. Um, you got Korean Agamandaji. Of course, you got Jarek Willis. You got guy, and you got Benedict, Theo Benedict, who was man really. I would thought he would have been got more reps a little bit, but I can kind of let you know where the counter maybe where they really see him at or whatever. But also speaks to Dan Rochar's ability. So this is why I'm pointing out this. Look at what Dan Rochar did with that left tackle situation, and where it was okay. It's Ozzy, it's Theo. It was Theo, then it was Ozzy. I should actually say.
Right.
But what you were getting out of Theo, and again, it's not a knock on Theo, but what limitations it seems like they see that Theo has. You know what I'm saying? To where
Right.
it wasn't okay. You and Braxton Jones really gonna be fighting out. It was kind of like, okay, Braxton, this is your job, and then the depth behind you will shake out or whatever to what Ozzy happens. So shout out for Dan Rozar for getting that out of Theo Benedict with
Right.
his limitations last year, because I would have thought he would have been higher up in the depth charts this year or whatever. But more importantly, again, your thoughts on Ozzy Trapillo and could be his glorious return to the Bears early in the season.
I mean, to me, this is like all gravy for the Bears. We had already
Gravy.
yeah, we had already written this off as a completely lost season for Trapillo. And even if he doesn't play, just to speed up his rehab, get on the field, get back to work, get back to work, like actually getting better as an offensive lineman, learning these concepts better, getting on the grass, all that rep work to me, it's bonus. It's bonus stuff for the Chicago Bears because we were under the impression that this was going to be a rehab year for Trapillo. So it's incredible news for his development. Whether or not he starts, it's incredible news for his development. And it makes you feel better about the swing tackle situation too, because if he can get healthy and he can get back to work and he's continuing to improve, let's say Braxton Jones are like, hey, we got Braxton Jones for a year and we trust
Mm-hmm.
him and that he's, like 90% Braxton Jones because he's dealing with an injury for himself. 90% of Braxton Jones is better than 70% Ozzie Trapillo. But like if Braxton goes down and you got 75% Ozzie Trapillo,
Great
like you
point.
feel you
Great
feel
point.
better about that as a swing
Yes, you
tackle.
do.
So
You great point. Great point.
it's phenomenal news.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the play on the field and for the future development of this second round pick. So
Listen,
finally
I'm
some
sorry.
good finally some good injury news for the Bears.
Also. Let me jump on this too. We were fine with Braxton because of Joe Thuney. All right, because in Joe we trust. All right,
Right.
as
Right.
anybody should. Right, but now you're saying to me, there's a chance that left tackle is now bolstered even further. Right, it's stronger, it's more stout, and now the only question is about center. And it's not like, oh my God, Garrett Bradbury, but also you got an Iowa center behind him. I
Right.
mean, as we talked about last week, what the Bears offensive line used to be. And the thing we used to say, it's not they didn't have starters or backups, right? They had neither, right? The backups were questionable. Now, like this is so I just want to shout out to Ben Johnson because I'm gonna put more of this on Ben Johnson than Ryan Post because Ryan Post has had chances to do this before Ben Johnson got there. All right, and it was always I'm trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, then just pay Peter. All right, pay Peter his damn money. All right, but to think about that and that now all around Caleb, you got some guys out there. And to your point earlier about what do these injuries matter, if your quarterback has weapons and a stout offensive line, and if he's supposed to be great, they shouldn't matter as much. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have a Justin Herbert here who we make excuses for every season.
We have a winner.
We got to win that part. We got a winner. All right. So I then something hit me. Is anything else with the Algie Trapillo situation you want to talk about?
No, sir.
So I got to ask you a question because you just showed me prior to the show. I can't reveal it. All right. So this is a pre-show, right?
Oh,
Discussion
off the air. Yeah.
off air. And we're not gonna bring that to the show because you was putting out feelers for something. But then it hit me while I was thinking about the next topic before we leave, and it was a Kyler Gordon situation.
Mm.
It's something you said. So before we came on air, I'm going through social media. I see former colleague of ours at NBC, Adam Hogue. Now I'll be honest, it was posted on the Score, place I used to work at briefly, well on and off. Posted on the Score. Shout out to everybody up there. Posted on the Score, but I don't know if they were. I feel like they were doing the interview with Hogue. But I just want to put that out there because I didn't get it was a clip, so I don't have all
It's a
the
clip.
clarity of it.
It might not be a Hogue published clip, but Hogue
Right.
is the subject of the clip.
Hogue is on there talking.
When Hogue
Go ahead.
speaks, we listen. When Hogue speaks, we listen.
But this is what he said that the Kyler situation was akin to guess what name he used?
Don't say Kevin White.
No, you use this name.
Kyler Gordon. Guy who got paid a lot of money. Oh, not Nate Davis. No, don't say Nate Davis, Kenneth.
And if listen, then I'm listening to you. I'm looking at you. I'm like, did he talk to Hogan? I just don't know that Hogue told him this.
I haven't spoken to Hogan in a little bit. I haven't spoken to Hogan in a little bit.
Okay. He used Nate Davis. No. He used Nate Davis. Something you said recently. He said that they're basically like, they don't know. I'm paraphrasing that part, but it's like we don't know that with homeboy. All right.
Nate Davis is not a man you want to be compared to. And listen, I know with hindsight, now knowing that he was going through the tragedy of his mom passing and that being tough, that adds a wrinkle and a flavor and it changes the situation. But before that, before that, Mike Vrabel was happy to part ways with Nate Davis because there were questions about, does he want to play football? How badly does he want
Does he want
this?
it? Yep.
Is he really willing to put in the work? And again, like when you add the tragedy that he went through on top of that, it obviously complicates things to an extraordinary degree. But he kind of had that reputation. I'll put it that way. That
Yeah.
from what I had heard, and if
Mhm.
I'm hearing it, other people are hearing it.
That
He
part.
kind of had that reputation. So to be compared to that man is troubling.
There, but also he's saying right there, there was mad questions. Not saying that you guys can know, because you got people, you listen to people. But there's mad media questions about why the hell did Ryan Poles sign Nate Davis because of everything Alice just said. Right? It was like, nah, that ain't the one. And the worst part, and again, this tragedy of his mother, but those questions were answered with what people thought they were going to be as far as his play, all right, and his desire. And again, I'm not dissing it because your mom passes or whatever, but that was before, and before it happened, he wasn't living up to what necessarily they thought he should be doing as someone that they brought into their offense and giving them the effort and showing up the way that he needed to. And that's again now it seems like that's a question that's being brought up with Kyler Gordon, and Kyler Gordon does not have the equity with this staff as he did with past staffs.
No, Ben Gordon identified Ben
Ben
Johnson. We're just talking about all these current and now former Bulls players.
Right.
Ben Gordon was a great scorer.
Clutch.
Johnson, Ben Johnson is the head coach of the Chicago Bears. He ID'd Kyler Gordon right away as,
yes,
hey, I like what I see. There's a lot of cross tape, right? I played the Bears twice a year before taking this job. I know what Kyler Gordon's about.
Right.
And they gave him an extension before really Ben Johnson got in the building. I mean, Ben Johnson was in the building, but I mean, it was early in Ben Johnson's tenure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a shame, really, that this guy that Ben Johnson ID'd says, like, you're going to be a cornerstone of my defense because I am not just I'm a head coach now. This is my defense. And now for Ben Johnson to say things like, I got to get to know Kyler Gordon, it just seems like such a missed opportunity.
It does. And it's sad, particularly when you think about scratching the surface of what Kyler Gordon could do and never really getting all of it all the time. Injuries have been an issue with him. It took him a second to really get adjusted that first year with them playing him in a lot of different positions.
Right. They did the inside out thing, and that was a mistake.
It was. So again, I hope it's a situation, and we mentioned this guy. I hope it's a Kyle Fuller situation where Vic Fangio challenged Kyle Fuller. There we go. Vic Fangio challenged him, and he stepped up to that challenge, right? And I hope that Kyler Gordon could do the same thing. But if not, hey, as I said, episode or two ago, I can get you one in the third. All right, I can get you one. Just trust in me. I got you.
Malik Muhammad, can you play in the middle? Hey Malik, can you play in the middle, young man?
Let me see that. Let me see that back. Let me see that blitz. Let me see that run stopping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can you get your hat there? Can you get your hat in the pile? Bring down the run. Bring down the ball carrier.
Can you? All right. Any extra point?
I could come up with one unless you have one.
I don't have one. If you want to come up with one, go right ahead.
I'm going to make my extra point a video game, I believe, for the first time in the history of this program. So myself and some friends, we have a gamer night weekly. We like survival crafting video games in particular, where we can do our nice little co-op and build our bases and go out on missions and then come back with our loot and then make bigger stuff and then kill bigger things. We just finished arguably the best survival crafting game I've ever played in my life. And it was free on PlayStation. Unbelievable. 120 hours of content. It's almost staggering to say that out loud. To be like, I spent 5 days of my life playing this video game. It's a staggering thing to say out loud. But this game, Abiotic Factor, if you are fans of the Half-Life setting, the weird, funky science fiction aliens and gross stuff, and you're fans of, collecting resources and using those resources to make things, it's absolutely wonderful. And it is unlike every other survival crafting game where you're punching trees for wood and you're punching rocks for stones. You're collecting staplers and you're collecting calculators to make, makeshift armor and crossbows and stuff, and you're fighting aliens. And it starts, what's so spectacular about this game, Kenneth, really, in my opinion, is the story is very funny and the story is very good. The environmental storytelling is also excellent if you're looking to like explore the world and let the lore come to you. The level design is also unreal, dude. You start and you think you're in this tiny little office, this tiny little cafeteria, and then you expand and you're in these mines, and then all of a sudden you're taken on a portal to another universe, and you're 20 hours in, and then all of a sudden you unlock a shortcut and you're back to where you began at the very beginning. You're like, wait, we're back at the beginning, but I have all these new things. I could do all this new cool stuff. That level design, like what I just described, just scratches the surface of it. If you play Dark Souls, it's very similar to that Dark Souls design of looping in on itself. And you're like, wait, I've spent 15 hours doing this thing, and it was all a shortcut to get back to here. Incredibly rewarding. The gameplay is tight. The combat is tight. The storytelling is excellent. The power curve, wonderful. It will challenge you if you're looking for a challenge. It will make you laugh, which is what you want to do when you're playing video games with your friends. We like to laugh. And man, it just kept us occupied for 120 hours. And I'm honestly sad that it's done. It's one of those things where I'm like, dang, I could go for another 120 hours of that. That's a shame that it's over. So Abiotic Factor, a video game. If you like this type of video game, can't recommend it highly enough.
How many players did you need?
So you can play, I'm not sure how many it supports. We had 3 in our game. Sometimes we would play with 2 and it would be fine. And then sometimes, like if some dude couldn't make it, we would just solo and like farm stuff or push out a little bit, explore a little bit. And like you can solo it fine too. I prefer playing like the more the merrier is kind of my thing, but you can absolutely duo it. You can absolutely solo it. Just a spectacular video game.
All right, Abiotic Factor. You heard it from Alex right here. For our extra point, this is the Windy City podcast presented by Fansided. We always appreciate you taking a little bit of time. We got some preseason games coming up, y'all. Yeah, all the hype of watching players that may be selling insurance and telling you our thoughts and finding guys that are low in the depth chart. And you're like, wait, hold on, that one. Y'all keep that one.
There could be some Jack Sanborns. There could be some Jade Walkers. Jade Walker was a guy who was looking like he was going to sell insurance until he wasn't, until he popped off in the preseason. So who will be this year's Jade Walker?
I like one of my favorite ones. He had 3 names. I don't know if he was with the Chiefs last year. I can't remember. It was a defensive end tackle the Bears had. It was a big, tall guy. This was about 5 years ago. I can't remember. I just saw his name a week or 2 ago because he was with another team.
The Chiefs.
I think he played with the Chiefs recently. I feel like he played with the Chiefs recently. Yeah.
3 names. Was a practice squad dude who had a great preseason and turned into an NFL player.
Yeah.
I can't recall, but people in the chat remind us, who is Kenneth thinking about and who will be this year's player like that?
I will think about it and I will get back. And as Alex says, put it in the chat. Thanks, you guys. We always appreciate it. Get your fantasy stuff ready too. That's coming. We'll put ours. I'm going to ask the guys next week what day they want to start talking about it so we can get to this fantasy football and talk a little bit on here. Be safe. And we will be back to break down some preseason football. All right. All righty, y'all. We appreciate it.